All right, guys, Miss Mold here with your math message. And as you can see, my setup is a little bit different. I'm not using my iPad today because today's math message is all about measuring line segments. So I can't zoom in as much as I would like to. So I tried to zoom in as much as possible. So I'm going to try not to move my paper so you guys can still see. So it says Lyric, Chloe, and Matthew measured line segment AB to the nearest 1/8 of an inch. So that means from 1 inch to 2 inches, they're going in increments of 1/8. So if this 1 inch represents 0/8, oops, sorry, that's supposed to be an 8, 1/8, 2/8, 3/8, and you guys would keep going. Okay, so Lyric said that this line AB was 2 4/8 inches long. Chloe said that it was 2 2/8 inches long. And Matthew said it was 2 1/2 inches long. Whom do you agree with and why? So the first thing that we have to do is measure this line segment AB. Now, you were able to print out a ruler from EM Online. If you weren't, just try following along because the rulers that you guys probably have at home are not measured by 1/8 of an inch. They might be, but just double check before you measure. Okay, so I'm gonna line up this arrow where it says 0 right to the start of my line A. And you want to get it as precise as possible. And I see that it goes till about this line. So I know it's in between 2 and 3 inches. So if this is on my ruler 1/8, this would be 2/8, 3/8, 4/8. And then it would be 5/8, 6/8, 7/8. And once you get to 8/8, it would be another inch, which is 3. So we can see that this line segment measures 2 4/8. So we already know, if we look at our problem, who was right. And it was actually Lyric, because she said the measurement was 2 4/8. However, if you look at Chloe or Matthew, one of them has an equivalent fraction because 2 4/8 can also be written as 2 1/2 because 4 is half of 8. So actually, it's Lyric and Matthew. And you can explain why. So you can say Lyric and Matthew were correct because line AB measured 2 4/8 or 2 1/2 inches. Okay, done with number 1. Number 2 says measure line segment CD to the nearest 1/8 inch and figure out how many inches it is. So I'm going to go back to my ruler and I'm going to line it up with the start of C very carefully. And I'm going to hold it steady with one hand while I slide and measure with the other. And I'm going to just color in the tick mark that it measures up to. So then I can take my ruler away and it's easier for me to count. So now I know that line segment CD is between 4 and 5 inches. But we want it to the nearest 1/8 of an inch. So we have to figure out how much that is. So again, this would be 4 1/8. This would be 4 2/8, 3/8, 4/8, 5/8, 6/8, 7/8. So line segment CD measures 4 7/8 inches, so just under 5 inches. Okay, I am going to do the journal pages with you guys. That's going to be measuring the length of bugs to the nearest eighth of an inch. So keep these rulers handy because you're gonna need them.